Hey folks, Mike here. At Storytelling with Data, we're all about improving communication with data. Now, usually that means graphs or slides, but today we're going in a different direction. We're going to cover 3 things you can do to make your emails more effective. Now, I'm not talking about what you write or how long you should write or how short you should write. Now, I'm talking about using the same principles that we apply to data viz and business presentations to make your email messages stronger, easier to read, and more likely to achieve your actual goals. Now, let me give you a quick scenario here because it's something that I worked on with a client recently. There's a corporate office, and this corporate office sends a regular system-generated email out to hundreds of store managers. All of these managers are participating in a pilot program to improve customer service at their stores. So the email is telling them how are they doing at hitting their metrics this quarter. That email is also including a request for these managers to update their information, their plans for the next quarter, how they're going to hit their metrics then. There's some other stuff in the message as well. Now the problem is that the email wasn't working well. From corporate's perspective, not enough people were entering their next quarter's plans into the system. So how do they fix this problem? Step 1 is what I said a minute ago. Think about what's important to the person that you're sending the message to. In any message this long, there are bound to be a few different points of emphasis that are important to the sender, a few that are important to the recipient, and a few that are equally important to both. Now, this is how we should think about prioritizing our communication. In this email, I counted 6 distinct topics, 6 distinct things that were trying to be conveyed. One of these had mutual interest. It was, congratulations, you are being successful in meeting your metrics. One of them was only of interest to the recipient, which was, here are your actual scores. And then the rest of them were mostly important to the sender. So step 1 in strengthening this email is going to be to put the messages in that order. Important to everyone, important to the recipient, then important to the sender, instead of the order that they were in when the email was created. Now we can move on to step 2. Make sure that the important things are the elements that draw your attention. Images, big text, anything that doesn't match its surroundings, whatever's at the top of the page. These are the things that tend to draw our eyes. Now, I showed you this email. What caught your eye when I first put it up on the screen? Was it the image, the celebratory image in the top corner? Was it the big update your progress button? Or was it the scores boxed in down here at the bottom, below the fold, to use an old newspaper term? Look, we've got to make these important things a lot more noticeable. We don't want to have any misunderstanding about what people are supposed to be focusing on. We've got to make the important things more noticeable. Congratulations, you're doing well. This is an important message. Here are your performance scores. That is also an important message. So when we revamped this email, we focused on making those 2 elements a lot more attention-grabbing. So we changed the top section of the email from this to this. We made the text bigger, we made it more bold, we made it more personal. This should make the recipient happy and make them more likely to continue to read the message. When we talked about the scores, we changed them from this to this. Notice that again, we made them bigger, bolder. Instead of being boxed in and grayed out, we instead show them in a bold, bright color. We added a slight data viz element to it as well, that number line below each one of the big, bold scores, so that the managers could see where their store fell against the target metric that they were being judged against. So now, the 3rd step, make the message scannable. Now, I don't mean make it so that it can be run through an optical scanner, that somebody can have it read to them. I mean Is it easy to tell if there are separate sections of this email? Is there white space where our eyes can rest? Are there other headers in the message or clues, separations that tell us what each section of this email represents? Does the design look clean, intentional, thoughtfully constructed? So to make a message like this one a lot more scannable, what we do is break it into sections that correspond to our main messages. In step 1, we figured out that there were 3 main elements that we wanted to focus on. So for each of those 3 sections, we used unique colors for contrast. Then we made sure that there was some consistent alignment happening across all of the sections, some consistent spacing across them all, and we put them in the order that we determined back in step 1. So we put our congratulations message first, then we put the scores next. We followed that with the call to action to update the system with next quarter's plans. So there you go. After applying these 3 steps, considering what's most important to your recipient, making sure that the key messages draw the most visual attention, and creating a scannable layout, you can transform an email that looks like this into something that looks like this. And then everyone is happy. Effective business communication isn't just making your slides and graphs look better. It applies to our email communications as well. So I hope that these tips are going to help you to make your emails even more effective. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.